Yeah, hello. Yeah, my name is William Jones of the Pacheedaht First Nation. I'm an 80-year-old elder there, and I'm here to spread the word of saving what's left of the old growth. The old growth is the untouched original virgin timber that has never been logged. And there is very little of it left, just remnants of our ancient forests. And what's left now in Port Renfrew, particularly the Ferry Creek watershed, is a spiritual forest used for spiritual purposes up the Ferry Creek and Renfrew Creek area. I first got involved with the Ferry Lake protection people in about the middle of August last year. And I have been involved ever since, and it's about stopping the logging in the old growth of what the TFL that the Teal Jones Cedar owns and is licensed to log that area. And they are currently putting legal action to stop us from protecting the old growth that they want to destroy. So it's a loggerhead situation that our government doesn't seem to be wanting to address. They actually talked to the forest logging people, but won't talk to the people who are concerned about saving the old growth in the Ferry Creek area or the Walbrand Valley. And so it's a locked situation right now that is now in legal contention. Customarily, our people, the Pacheedaht First Nation, looked upon the forest as all old growth, and that we all had to respect and not go into the forest except for prayer and meditation. And that included up the rivers or on top of the mountains or anywhere within reach. Wherever there was forest, it was holy. Yeah, and now the logging companies are now wanting to log the last of the remnants of the ancient forests in the Pacheedaht First Nation, and that happens to be Ferry Creek, one of our holiest mountains, where three or four of us used to, in our young days when we could walk up there, go up for prayer and meditation, me and my two uncles. And that's about it now. And now we're wanting to save what's left of it for the children's future and their spiritual needs. Yeah. All people, particularly Europeans, have had their contact with nature and spiritual things transferred to the religions. And the religious people took over our spiritual practices, which neglected and persuaded people that our world didn't matter, only the churches mattered. And we were trained to listen to the church, and I myself included. However, of lately I have been realizing that this world is a spiritual place, the whole world, and that in fact we have to reserve places and protect and care for them for our children's needs in their future. There are very few of us who are actually involved. Our young chief Um, Victor Peters is our hereditary chief of the Pacheedaht First Nation, and he is for saving what old growth that is left. And I say to the children of the future, there are a few coming out of the closets, supporters of saving. Some are finally coming out of the closet, and perhaps we will bring our concerns to court to counter Neil Teal Jones's wanting to pillage the last of the old growth. Well, Mr. Horgan seems to be giving us a blind eye and looking the other way for the spiritual needs of our children, both white and Native or Caucasian or non-First Nations. All people have spiritual needs that are tended to in forests, and we have to realize that our Premier Horgan and the Prime Minister seem to cater more to big business and big interests rather than little interests and little needs of our children. And what they want to do is take all the remnants, to leave our future naked of any innocence that this world has ever had. They want to wipe out all the innocence that most people want to save a part of for colonial profit.
What do you say to regular folk as an invitation to get involved and to come and stand?
Well, I'll have to think back to the old Indian Act, which apparently has not been rescinded yet. And a part of the Indian Act said that a Indian, as it's called in the old Indian Act, said that an Indian can bring guests up to the forests and they cannot be evicted from the forest by that. And I have to have the legal people look into that idea, and I also invite all people to come up to the forest, especially the old growth, for protection and care as you attend to your spiritual needs. And bring the kids. I think the ways of managing our forest in relation to respecting old growth, those days are quickly diminishing, and that in fact what's left has to be not touched, period, because there's nothing left to fight over. Yeah, and what that remnant that we will fight over and we will preserve are not ours, it's our future children's needs that we're attending to. And whereas our government, both provincial under Mr. Horgan and the federal under Mr. Trudeau, are all tending to the profit needs of corporate people, offshore in particular, which brings me to a fact that shows the fact that people are simply statistics to our government and not real. We become unreal as soon as the elections are won. And I feel that I have to pass on to both Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Horgan that we are people and we are going to protect the old growth, and you can come and see us there and we will talk to you, because we need you to understand that our children have needs along with our own personal spiritual needs, and that in fact your corporate needs have to be adjusted to look after our children. No, I invite all people to come up to the old growth forests spend time there and bring your kids and your camera and show people what beauty and grandeur this world has, and that we are protecting the last of the great God's grandeur. Yep. Thanks.